look like they got some other illustrious things coming up. Because on Saturday, May 11th, they are going to be at a city center, 1400 M Street Northwest, the Westin at City Center, and an elegant evening of awareness, awards, and acknowledgement. Okay, so she got something for the bourgeoisie, and she got something for the lumpen proletariats. And if you like me and you bourgeto, you can go to both of them. All right? So join us in the studio. Say what's up to our listening audience at WEAC Radio.
Hello, hello.
All right. I'm sorry, I don't have your illustrious introduction bio in front of me, so please introduce yourself properly.
Sure. Hello. Thank you for having me, WEAC Radio. I'm Rhonda Hamilton with MI Mother's Keeper. And those of you out there that know us know that we are a mental health nonprofit advocacy doing work across the district, helping families in underserved and otherwise communities, trying to raise awareness and making sure that we are having the right dialogue as it relates to families that are in crisis and families that are in need of our help. We are so excited to have Congresswoman Norton coming here on this Saturday. She's agreed to come over to 8 to be able to hear our cry. We've got families that are sleeping in hallways, sleeping in cars, sleeping in laundromats. We're so concerned about the standard of care that's been allowed to be considered acceptable for families here in the district. And we realize that it's not easy to be going through something like this. So we're raising the awareness, we're creating the platform, we're bringing the Congresswoman over here, and we're asking the families to come out. Take your mask off. Be brave. Mental health is not something easy to talk about or deal with, but MI Mother's Keeper is out here, and we will stand with you.
Now, why is it there's a continued stigma regarding mental health illness when clearly we have someone suffering from mental illness in the White House right now? Why is it that stigma still persists?
Well, it's so interesting. I think that as a society, anytime we see anyone that's different or we feel that we ourselves don't fit into what society says is norm, we start to question ourselves. History has taught us that the practices of psychiatry hasn't been the greatest or the most attractive. We've been raised as a people to be quiet about things, are secretive, and keep things, hold things in, be strong. There are a host of reasons of why the stigma still exists. I suspect that a lot of what we're dealing with in mental health has to do with what yesterday's definition was. If you had to wear that diagnosis or wear that labeling, then obviously those folks around you would know or have justification that you're different. And we're learning that that's just not the case. With every other major ailment that we have in our bodies, whether it be kidney disease, whether it be high blood pressure, you name it, we have to have some sort of preventative measures. When we talk about mental health and matters of the mind, we don't have the same consciousness, and we've got to change that dialogue. Too many people are suffering in silence.
Exactly, and we actually, have survivors of trauma, and those are issues. Like just sitting here in the interview with you in our storefront studio here on the radical side of Monkey Avenue, the FBI is just chasing the guy down the street. It's literally chasing a brother down the street, and then the police sirens, and then, it's just that we have been, we have children who have been witnesses to homicide.
Absolutely.
We have children who have been abused, and no one has serviced these children, and they grew up with issues.
Absolutely.
And we said this off air, and I need to think it bears repeating, is that, if something happened to me and I hurt my back, then, going forward in life, that I have an issue with my back.
Absolutely.
I might be subjected to a slip disc, I can't overly exert myself, or I might, throw my back out, as they say. So if there's been an injury to my mind, the way I process information and how I react, you have to understand that I'm not functioning fully.
Absolutely.
Because I have never been recovered. I have never received therapy. I have never healed.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? So and no one's gonna give you a stigma for having a bad back.
Absolutely not. And so it begs to differ. Why is it that we're dealing with this stigma in our community? And a lot of times, and the reason why I came off the sidelines after watching my mom for over 30 years walk up and down these same streets, as you mentioned, having exposures to trauma and things like rape and everything in between, and then left to feel ashamed while she's still trying to maintain and battle back from God knows what. It's important that we have these discussions because we have to remove this shame. We have to be able to help our community understand that these are a part of the scars that we all wear, and there's no one greater than the other. We need to get into our communities and start having conversations with one another. We need to get back to being in a village. We need to be able to pull the covers back on these secrets that we're all walking around with, because our secrets are killing us.
Our secrets are killing us. I just want to take a moment here because we're listening to a musical bed provided by Solange, Cranes in the Sky.
Sounds
and
good.
I always suspected this song was about mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the lyrics. I tried to drink it away.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to put one in the air. I tried to dance it away. I tried to change it with my hair. I ran my credit card up. Thought a new dress would make it better.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to work it away, but that just made me even sadder. I tried to keep myself busy. I ran around circles. Think I made myself dizzy. I slept it away. I sexed it away. I read it away. Away, away, away.
We try.
Slim, what is she talking about? She's saying that she is in pain and nothing she's doing is fixing it. It's not addressing it. And we singing like it's just, pay attention, folks, this is real. And that's why it really, I think, connected with people on a subconscious level.
Let me tell you something. From, all those of us raised in neighborhoods like the one that you and I sit in now, as beautiful as historic Anacostia is, we know the battle scars that we carry and bear. And our support group women, we call ourselves divas. The word in front of that is dysfunctional divas. And let me explain that. Those of us that grew up in communities like this that, we didn't have time to get sick. Nobody has time to stay home from work. We got bills to pay. So what Solange is singing about is what we're all familiar with. I tell my women all the time, we put that weave in, it's tight, we got that lipstick on right, and we tipping out, and all inside we are tore up. We have got to pull the covers back and have these conversations, because guess what? When you can't drink it away, when you can't sex it away, you got to be able to deal with it. And as I tell my ladies all the time, ladies, if we can't call a thing, how in the world can we expect to heal?
Can't call a thing. How you expect to heal? Nikki Giovanni told us that we had Grado that somebody got called a motherfucker. All right.
I love it.
Tell us about these events you got coming up at Anacostia Park Saturday, April 27th. What's going to be going down? It says music, food, entertainment, and of course our illustrious Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton, who has patronized and frequented people who are suffering from mental health illness since she was hanging out with Trump. So tell us what's happening on 27th. For the bourgeois, bourgeois people such as myself, and also what's taking place on May 11th for the upperly mobile Negroes.
Brother, I thank you so much. We can't put it any better. I just love coming here to WEAC. I'm sitting outside of the gates of the historic Anacostia Park, and I'm so excited. I am exhausted from putting this word out. I know this city is going to come out this Saturday and get behind. In my mother's keeper, as you heard me saying, we've been in the community doing outreach. We are over in what used to be Butler Gardens, but it's Cedar Heights now. We're over there every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and in between as well. We provide support, and what we were finding as we were providing this support, the support groups, the behavioral health camps for the children after school, we are doing resumes, we are taking folks on job interviews, we have our sleeves rolled up. And what happens when we're out and doing our outreach in these communities, we have families that are sleeping in hallways, we've got families that are doing intake for psychiatric care. Come on, Ward 8, you hear me, you know what I'm talking about, on waiting lists. Anytime you got to be on a waiting list when you're already falling apart, we've got to do something about that. So our organization decided that we've got to raise this banner far and wide.
Thank you for calling 911. Please hold.
We decided that we are homeless no more, silent no more. Mental health matters. We're hearing conversations all across the city about everything, but we've got to talk about the things that nobody wants to talk about. Everybody deserves to be able to have a hot meal and a warm bed to sleep in. I'm talking babies sleeping in hallways with their families. This is ridiculous. We are the nation's capital. We've got to speak about it. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not in a clique. It's ridiculous. I was a little girl 30-something years ago watching my mom grow through situations like this. We've got to do better, and we're going to do better. We've got to hold people accountable, and so we've decided that our Homeless No More initiative is necessary. We're going to be in Anacostia Park this Saturday. We're starting at 8 a.m. with a walk. The walk will be over at 9:30. They're closing the road so that we can do the walk. We're asking folks to come out. It's $25 to get you a t-shirt, get you registered, get you access and entry into the all-day picnic. Did you hear me, Ward 8? We are having an all-day picnic. We are celebrating mental health and the struggles that the families are going through. We are raising this banner wide and far to say that there is no reason to be ashamed. We're going to invite folks to come out to the park, give us their testimonials. We are getting our teenagers involved because suicide is very real. You mentioned something about survivor's remorse. We're constantly exposed to trauma over in these neighborhoods. We've got to heal. Saturday, April the 27th, starting at 8 a.m., we're asking Ward 8 and everybody surrounding us to come out and have these conversations. People should not be waiting in line for psychiatry care. People should not be sleeping in laundromats and hallways when we know better. We've got to do better, and we've got to bring our voices together because there's power in numbers. I know that the hopelessness is out there. I know that the despair is out there. I know that you think nobody cares, but those of you that see Miss Rhonda in the community every day up there in Cedar Heights, you know that we mean business. I brought Congresswoman Norton over here to our ward so that she can hear your cry. And as the brother here so graciously mentioned, come on, he said that the bougettos of us, those of us that come up in 8, we know about that bougetto. We can come here and be hood and be with our folk, and then we got to go down and somebody's got to get the business taken care of. Right. So Miss Hamilton's out here, and we're going to do this fundraising event. We've got 3 of them. The kickoff is at the park here, so I'm asking you guys to come out on Saturday and support us. We're going to pick it up with a golf tournament on May the 10th because we're going over and we're having those conversations because we want their money to come back and support our families. We want help. We need help. We're just not talking about it. We're being about it. The wonderful folks up at Malton Golf Course have adopted this initiative. They have adopted my children in the community. They allow us to come up and play golf on Saturdays with the kids. It starts May 4th all the way till the end of September. How about that? Tiger Woods just won the tournament, and so our babies are being able to be empowered and understand that we can do a great thing when we have the right tools and we have the right resources. So In My Mother's Keeper is out here. We've got the golf tournament, as I mentioned, on May 10th up at the Malton Golf Course. It's going to be from noon all the way up until 4 p.m. We have an award ceremony, and we will be also feeding folks and having a banquet on that day. We're going to wrap up the Homeless No More initiative on Sunday at the Westin Hotel for those bougie folks down there. Come on down and party with us. We're going to have live band. We're going to have comedian Mike Brooks and Mr. Sean Miller. We're going to be giving away some awards, and we're just going to be celebrating the understanding that we are changing the dialogue in the city here as it relates to mental health and families in underserved communities. We've got to come together. And My Mother's Keeper wants you to know, when you see that green and white t-shirt, stop us. Let us know your story. We're going to take them down to folks that we are going to hold accountable. We've got to get people back on track. Come on, I tell you that it breaks my heart every time I have a family stop me and tell me that they need help, or can I accompany them down to Virginia Williams because they're having trouble proving that they're homeless. Anytime we have a system where our families have to prove that they're homeless, then that's an indication that we've got to do something about the system.
Got to do something about the system. All right, we're getting taking calls here. Sorry, we couldn't put your calls through, but the question was putting out here. What is your panacea for addressing mental illness?
I
Obviously,
love that.
You're raising the issue about the stigma, but what are you proposing to do?
I love that. What I'm proposing to do, and I appreciate the call, absolutely. What I'm proposing to do is to re-educate folks about what they believe they understand mental health to be. When we bring this conversation up, I'm always concerned that folks are only concentrating on folks that are diagnosed with mental concerns. What we intend to do is to raise the awareness so that we can help teach life-sustaining and coping skills as you guys are going through these things. What's happening is that when you're not taking meds or when you're not in front of a comprehensive mental health plan, you're spiraling out of control when life finds you. it's easy to maintain in between the short moments. What we're speaking of is when you have these longer periods when you know you need to talk to somebody and you're not. When everything around you is spiraling out of control. What we're trying to help our citizens to understand is that you need a good comprehensive mental health plan. We need to get back to being a village. You need not only just your psychiatrist. Let me say something to you when you talk about what we intend to do. SAMHSA did a research and they found that folks of mental health and mental exposure are expiring faster. What I mean by that they're dying sooner. And what they found was that we were just focusing on the diagnosis as opposed to treating the whole individual. What our support groups and what our programs seek to do is to come to the community and help our citizens understand a self-sustaining ability to be able to cope in between those moments of where we're living. We're trying to raise awareness because stress kills. And if in fact you don't have a comprehensive system to be able to talk to people when you get in those low moments, there's something called suicide that we're trying to catch people from. There's something called gunfire and anger and lack of an ability to be able to express yourself. You don't always have to go to a doctor to be able to do that. What we're trying to do is to get people to change their behaviors and to be able to open up and talk about the things that many of us have been sitting on for years that are contributing to the deterioration of our mental health. So it's important that we change the understanding and the definition of what people believe they understand mental health to be. It's not always about being diagnosed. And when you're diagnosed, we got to make sure that we're looking at the whole individual and not just one aspect of it. Our organization seeks to improve the quality of living for our citizens, and what that means is understanding who you are and where you are and giving you your best opportunity for living your best life.
You heard it here first. Opportunity to live your best life. Silent No More, Mental Health Matters, 3000 Walk and Picnic in Anacostia Park, Saturday, April 27th, and also Saturday, May 11th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. The Westin at City Center, D.C., 1400 M Street Northwest, Elegant Evening of Awareness, Awards, and Acknowledgement. There's a lot of performances going to be out there. For more information, you go to eventbrite.com, Homeless No More, Silent No More, Mental Health Awareness. Thank you for all your do something, this young lady.
Thank you, guys. I love coming here.
There it is. And taking us home is going to be our DC's own Chuck Brown, Run Joe, dedicated to the young man that's getting chased by the FBI on Martin Luther King Avenue. Godspeed, young man.
Another day in the hood.
Another day in the hood.
Thank you, guys. It's not glamorous work, but it's necessary work. See you guys on Saturday.